What's up guys? Welcome to New Projects with Jim Tay, and in today's video I'm talking about Foret at Bukit Timah. Yes, this highly anticipated new launch at Beauty World, and I'm once again privileged to have online with me Mr. Jeremy Tan, the Project IC from Propnex. And in this video, we are going to focus on the latest developments where the developer has released new information on the site and the floor plans, the investment potential of Foret at Bukit Timah, and finally sharing some unique insights that I personally found out about Foret and the surrounding properties. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Jeremy Tan online right now.
Hi Jim, hello.
Hey Jeremy.
Hi Jim, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time once again to come online on my program to talk about Foret at Bukit Timah in our part 2 video. I understand it must be quite busy for you since phase 2 reopened in Singapore.
Yes, that's right. It's been packed all the way through, both during the day as well as in evening times as well, when we continue having our Zoom meetings.
Understand, I'm sure. Same for me. So I guess without further ado, I understand the developer has released new information to the public. It would be great if you could share with us some details on them here, as well as your unique insights, of course.
Okay, so for Foret at Bukit Timah, we just received our architectural drawings, some of the artist impressions last week. Right. Once again, my name is Jeremy. I'm a Foret Project IC. For Foret, where we are located actually is within the Beauty World area. So for the Beauty World area, if you notice, is actually all surrounded by in green our landed areas, and in pink, these are actually our private areas. Our site plan has been out already, and what we have actually would be an entrance, a long driveway coming in that would lead to our grand drop-off point. And what does this grand drop-off point and our entrance look like? Right, it looks like this. Right, so coming in, a very well manicured lawn leading into our grand drop-off point.
Talking about this grand drop-off point, I think, yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it was very unique as well, because most normal condominiums, I would say, the drop-off point is right at the entrance. Wouldn't you agree?
That's right.
Yeah, so this kind of long driveway kind of reminds me like it's a landed property.
Oh yes.
Where it's deep in, and then there's a separate driveway for cars.
Oh yes, I think that's the feel that the architect was going for, right? And even into the development itself, we have chosen to use quite understated, classy kind of style. A lot of it will be bringing the green spaces into the living spaces. So that means we'll have a lot of glass function rooms. We'll also have open function rooms like this, whereas a lot of stone, a lot of natural themed style. So this next one, this would be what our glass function rooms will look like. Right, so overlooking the lawns, overlooking at the heart of the development with different elevations, some of the function areas. Another thing I like would be our cascading waterfalls, where we'll have waterfalls and pool facilities, which will be what the units will be overlooking. So let's say you choose a unit that is pool facing. On one side, the waterfall, and on the opposite side, right, you will be actually seeing the pool itself.
Is that pool going to be the smaller pool, or is it going to be the larger main
Oh yes,
pool?
that's the smaller pool. We have 5 pools across the development, and a lot of them are quite impressive, I must say. The main pool, of course, will be 50 meters, but we'll have at least 3 other pools that are about 25 to 30 meters. Right, we'll also have kids pool facilities.
Nice.
So for units that are garden facing, what we'll have instead is this. We actually have got a vertical green, right, that will be your garden, right, and a lot of nature, a lot of contrast in terms of the visual elements.
What's going to be behind the wall you showed earlier?
All right, so for the garden wall, that is actually a heritage green wall. It's something that is pre-existing, and behind that, actually, that would be our neighboring development. But what we'll also have, we are actually structured in such a way that our block that is over here would overlook perhaps the lowest point of Signature Park, which is their function room. So because of that, potentially on the higher floors of this block, you can still get a little bit of views towards Signature Park and perhaps the Signature Park pool also.
Right, got it.
Next, perhaps I'll go straight into the floor plans.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Alright, so I think one of the highlights that has been quite exciting will be our 2-bedroom compact units. These will be the ones that were quoted at just over 1 mil, right? And at 1.0xx, this is something that is very attractive in the market for a two-bedder. And let me show you what the layout looks like. Because in this space, what we have been able to fit in is a proper L-shaped kitchen. We have a private entrance, a proper dining space. We have a squarish living area, and where we get the space from is this. For the balcony, it's not overly large. Right, so a very rectangular squarish balcony, and our master room can still fit in a king size bed with 2 side tables, which is not something that you'll get in every two-bedder nowadays even. When it comes to our common room, we are also able to fit in a queen size bed. So I like this layout because I think that it will be very attractive for a couple of groups. Firstly, this will be very attractive for perhaps singles looking at their first property. Secondly, perhaps a starter home for couples that just got together. Or it will also be something that's quite attractive for investors looking for something with an attractive quantum. So I would say that this layout, our 2-bedroom compact, will be one of our best sellers, probably one of the first to sell out on the first day of launch.
Okay, so you actually think this 2-bedroom compact would sell on the first day?
Yes, I think this will be very attractively priced, and this would be something that would be highly sought after.
Okay. I have to say, when I look at the floor plans, it is very efficiently designed, especially the kitchen, because I think most 2-bedrooms, especially around this size, the kitchen is all flushed in a straight line against the wall. So the fact that they do an L shape, I think it increases the usability, and definitely for those who want to close up the kitchen, I think it might be possible here.
Yes, it may be possible to screen up part of the kitchen to just provide a little bit more privacy. That's a possibility.
Right, understand. How many units of this type are there in the project?
Oh, that's very limited. For this particular layout, we only have 2 stacks.
Okay.
Stack 37 and stack
Okay,
49.
no wonder you think it might be sold out on the first day.
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so next I'll go into another layout that I like, and that is our 2-bedroom deluxe. So what's unique about Foret? We are the first development which has a new set of planning guidelines, and that is why we see a return of household shelters. So in recent developments, a lot of times we don't have a place for storage, like a storeroom or a household shelter. But at Foret, this is something that's making a comeback. And I think this will be very exciting for people who are looking for space to store their items. Because I know of some buyers who actually bought 2-bed, 2 baths purely because they want the second bath to be used as a
I
storeroom.
see. So do they knock away the fixtures and fittings in the second bathroom?
They built a rack over it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I think a household shelter is something that would be a very welcome return. And this is only possible at our villa blocks, which are these ones that are over here, the ones marked out in turquoise. And what this layout looks like is this. Firstly, kitchen-wise. Kitchen-wise, we have an enclosed kitchen. And this enclosed kitchen, it also comes with a window. And that's something that is very rare. I think this is the first time we are seeing a layout like this, where we have a kitchen that has a window in it and that is enclosed in a 2-bedder. Next, I talked about our household shelter. It gives you a bit more planning area. In terms of the length, it could even potentially be used as a helper's room. And that is something that we have not been seeing much recently. And all this, right, is being fitted into 732 square feet. So a very palatable floor plan area. In terms of the bedrooms, master bedroom can still fit a king size bed. Common can still fit a queen size bed. And the difference where it comes from is this. The foyer area is reduced. We still have a dedicated dining area. And the space will actually be taken from aircon ledge and the balcony. And that is how we are able to fit in more into less.
Looking at it, the aircon ledge does seem to be smaller than many other projects I'm familiar with.
That's right.
I would say that the first thing that stood out for me is the kitchen. Because we don't really see kitchen positioned right beside the master bedroom, right? Do you think there will be any issues with that from the buyers?
I think for the people that Foret is targeted towards, this may not be a large concern because most of the people that we are seeing coming in for Foret, they tend to be in the 30s to 40s, and they don't necessarily cook all the time. Especially for the two-bedders. And so because of that, and with the many dining choices within the vicinity, I think that the kitchen might end up being a place where they heat up their food, and
Okay.
it becomes a little bit like a pantry area.
I see, I see. But definitely this is something very unique. So I think it's good that the developer is doing a show unit for this layout, so it's better for people to visualize.
That's right, that's right. This is going to be a pioneering layout, and I think it'll be very interesting to see the response for this layout.
Also, good that you shared the insights about the household shelter. I didn't realize it myself, but yeah, I have been noticing household shelters making a comeback in many projects these days. So it's because of the fire safety. Maybe you can share with us the bigger floor plans. I think those are some that nobody has seen yet.
Okay, I'll share with you one layout that I think is very attractive, and that's the three-bed dual key layout. So the three-bed dual key layouts are quite limited. We actually have got several stacks across the development, so depending on the facing that you like, you can choose a unit that is there. So for the dual key layout, what I love most about it is how they have planned the space. So if you look at it, we actually have got a foyer area that is shared, and then we actually have got a proper studio unit. And this is very rare because a lot of times with a dual key, the studio is actually a glorified master bedroom. But in this layout, right, what we have is this. We have a proper bedroom. We have a study table, potentially a dining space as well. We have a proper kitchenette, right? So this itself in a normal development would be perhaps a two-bedroom enclosed kitchen. But here it's our two-bedroom dual key kitchenette, right? With fridge, with washer and dryer, so fully equipped. Really good for standalone usage already, right? And that is just the studio. In terms of the two-bedder on the other side, it's also a proper two-bedder which has a living and dedicated dining space, efficient balcony. We have a enclosed kitchen also with a window. We have a two-bedroom common room. We can fit a queen size bed and a king size fitting master bedroom. So really this is something that is very attractive. I like to point out that the master bath also has got natural ventilation, and I think this will be something that's very attractive for people who are really looking for investment and own stay. If you have buyers who are looking for investment and own stay and they don't know what to choose, this is what we have, our two-bedroom dual key, and only 29 units available, very limited stocks. I have never seen a two-bedroom dual key designed as effectively, efficiently as this. I think this will be something that will be very highly sought after. I think that in recent times, two-bedroom dual key have been a little bit of an afterthought, and because of that, sometimes they don't have kitchen, sometimes they don't have washer and dryer, sometimes the space is not very well designed as well. But I think this is one that is pretty well designed. I think this will be something that's very attractive.
So a potential sellout on day one as well with 29 units.
Eh, I'm not sure, but I think it'll be very well received.
I find it very interesting that the space is really one of the most efficient I've seen. They even have a household shelter in the dual key, you know. The two
Oh yes,
bedroom looks
yes.
so livable, and interesting that you talk about the dual key portion, the second smaller unit that yeah, they have a study table, they have a kitchenette. It's literally more like a studio
That's
that
right. A real proper
that can
studio.
be rented out more easily, because personally I do some rentals here and there as well, and for some dual key units when it's like shared washer dryer, you know, things like that, it's quite inconvenient for the person renting. Yes, so would you be sharing with us the regular three bedroom units?
Okay, in terms of layouts, maybe I'll just share with you one more, and that's our three-bedroom
Okay.
premium. We actually have got a lot more layouts and a lot more that haven't been released yet. So I think the best way for you to get access to a layout is probably to link up with us, because that's when we can share with you a layout that is not just nice, but will also suit your needs and the price point that you are looking at. So Coming back to our 3-bedroom premium, this is actually a 1055 square feet. We have a proper enclosed kitchen with natural ventilation. We will also have a household shelter within the space, and I like that it has a helper's bath as well. So that's something that we can look for. I think a lot of the other developments in the area, they don't have a helper's bath, and that's something that is unique to Foret. Dining space, if you notice, we actually can fit a round dining table. And if you are familiar with ID and how it works, a round dining table actually takes up a lot more space, right? But that's what we have. We have space for a round dining table, we have space for a proper living space and a balcony. And our 3 bedrooms, if you notice, they're actually all facing one direction, and all of them can fit queen size beds in, and the master bedroom of course can fit a king size bed. So I think layout wise, these are quite attractive layouts. This will be something that people who are looking for livability, looking for something that has a helper's bath within this 1055 square feet, they would find this very attractive.
3 bedrooms, I think, are usually quite attractive to families. One thing I really noticed
right.
throughout all the floor plans is the balcony size. Really isn't those
Yes,
like
that's
you know the huge type that takes up a lot of space.
That's right. I think with Foret at Bukit Timah, we actually have chosen a very efficient balcony style, simply because our facilities are so welcoming that you could actually spend time in them rather than look at them from a distance.
That's true. That's true.
And I think that's an important design consideration as well, because I think in light of the recent times where we've spent so much time working from home, I think that having some time in the outdoors within your own development, I think that will be something that's very attractive for buyers at this point.
Got it. Got it. Asking on behalf of families that cook quite a lot, I think this is also one of a common question. Do you know as of now whether it would be gas stoves or like induction? Has that information been released yet?
Oh yes, that's an important question, right? Yes, these will actually be gas stoves. For the 3-bedders, they will come with gas stoves. It will be a 3-burner. Brand appliance would be
okay.
SMAC.
I see. So 3 and above will be gas stoves.
That's right.
Definitely good to know. Okay, Jeremy, if you don't mind, let's go back to the site plan. I have a couple of questions to ask. I would like to know which you think would be the premium blocks and the premium facings, and where would you find the more entry-level units?
Alright, so for Foret Bukit Timah, we are actually a north-south oriented development. So if you notice, we do not have units that are directly west-facing, other than a couple which benefit from the best pool view in the house, right? So I think what this development is designed for is to really maximize the natural through flow and to give each resident, number one, good views, as well as number two, minimal west sun orientation. So for units that have a little bit of west sun or rather a west orientation, these stacks and perhaps some of these over here, they actually come with an additional solar tint which helps to reduce the glare, reduce the heat reduction for these units. So I think the best views in Foret are probably towards the east, where we look towards Bukit Timah, and towards the south, where we look towards the Clementi area and the landed areas. So I think our most premium stack will be Stack 51, our 5-bedroom suite, as well as our 4-bedroom suite, which is Stack 27. This will be probably the most premium stacks in our development. And for these two stacks, what we'll have is actually panoramic windows, or rather our curtain walls, where even at the sides, they actually get views towards the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve also. I would say the best value could probably be found in our north-facing units, perhaps 48, 49, perhaps 36, 37. At first glance, 48, 49 look like they are facing the tennis court. But what's unique about our tennis court is that it is recessed. So which means that the second floor unit will actually be overlooking the tennis court entirely already. You will actually be looking out into open space, and I think that will be something that is quite attractive. I think that will be something that people will be quite surprised to hear.
Yes. As a tennis player myself, I am quite surprised to hear that it's a recessed tennis court. Don't get balls flying all over the place so easily.
Yes, so I think that's something that people will look forward to. I think that you'll probably find your best value units over here. And I think that even on higher floors, right, you might potentially, this block is actually overlooking the lowest point of Signature Park, and that means that you can potentially get some views of overlooking the Signature Park function rooms and perhaps to their pool facilities as well. So for garden facing versus pool facing, if you're familiar with this area, there are some developments where garden facing versus pool facing, you can have 100 to 200 PSF pricing difference. But for Red, right, I don't think that will be the case. I think that both garden facing as well as pool facing units are both very attractive. So the spread may not be as large. So some of the best value stacks I think for 3-bedder own stay would probably be stack 4, stack 10, 94, 90 as well as 82. These ones would have private or landed facing. They will have a good block to block distance, and they will be attractively positioned within the development and quite conveniently located as well. So I think these will be units that will be probably our best value for buyers who are looking for something for own stay. In terms of our 2-bedders, I think what will be most attractive, I've talked about it just now, would be our 2-bedroom compacts, that's 36, 37, 48, 49, as well as our 2-bedroom deluxe, for which we talked about the layouts just now as well. We have the floor plans out. I think the developer has already emphasized these layouts as units that they think are the most attractive.
Yeah, Jeremy, thanks for sharing those insights on the best facings in the project as well as the value buys. I think one more concern that buyers have, especially or at least my clients mention, is that the site plan kind of looks cramped, because I was trying to explain to my client that it's a huge land. So in terms of when it's compressed to a site plan, it will look closer, but in actuality, when you actually have the distance, it might be further than you might expect.
Interesting that you pointed that out, Jim, because I think it's important to give everything a frame of reference. For example, our frontage over here is actually 300 meters. What we also have is a 50-meter lap pool, which means that actually, even though these two blocks might appear quite close, there's actually more than 50 meters distance between them already. And just assuming that this is a 25-meter lap pool, right, that means that there's actually a more than 25-meter distance between these two blocks, which means that there will actually be more space between the blocks, between the facilities than it appears, simply because our land size itself is so large.
Makes sense, makes sense. That's why I think people are excited to really go and take a look at the model, where it's easier to gauge the distance than just off the plan this way.
That's right. Everything is compressed in a plan.
Yeah. Okay, Jeremy, I think we have overrun a bit on the plans, talking about the plans. I recall earlier you shared indicative prices up to 2-bedders. Do you have indicative prices for the larger units as well now?
Actually, at this point, we don't have a larger unit pricing yet, but I would say that we can look at very attractive pricing throughout the development, probably about the 18XX price point, and I think that makes the 3-bedders come in at potentially the 1.8x mil price point, right? And if it were to come in at this price point, I think it will be something that's very attractive. If it comes in anything below this, I think that will be a steal.
That's for the smallest 3-bedroom units?
That's right. And even then, I wouldn't call them the smallest, because they're still 3-bedroom deluxe units that are 947 to 980 square feet, right? So already very full-size units.
Right, so the smallest 3 bedrooms in the project is 947 square feet.
947, that's right. Okay. So we don't have any Mickey Mouse 700 plus, 800 plus square feet units.
That's quite interesting, because there are a lot of projects these days with 850-ish 3-bedroom units.
That's right. That's what we don't have.
Great, Jeremy. Then now we can move on to the second portion, where I want to talk a bit about the investment potential of the area. Again, some people have mentioned that the investment potential of the area doesn't seem so great, especially when referring back to one of the most recent launches. I know it's been a few years back, but that is The Creek. Didn't seem to do so well in terms of investment returns. Maybe you can share with us your thoughts on it.
I think The Creek is very unique because shortly after The Creek took keys, the land for Daintree was actually sold. And because of that, when they took keys, that was also the point where the pre-existing school in the Daintree site that was being demolished. and after that the construction work started. And then shortly after that, the View at Kismis site was also en bloc and also being redeveloped. So for residents at the Creek at Bukit in this period, they have been subjected to quite a fair bit of construction and redevelopment in the vicinity. From an investment viewpoint, from a rental viewpoint, am I right to say that that would actually impact the rental?
Yes, yes. I think when there's noise and construction going on in the vicinity, it does affect. And good point that you picked that out, because I have brought buyers to see second-hand units at the Creek before. Yeah, and similarly for the buyers, they're also concerned about the dust, the noise that's coming from all this construction taking place.
One other thing that I would like to point out is this, that even in spite of all this construction and redevelopment next to the Creek, right, units have transacted at 18XX PSF already, right? So I think that's something that is quite clear, that even at 18XX for a resale unit, buyers actually find that it is fair value for this area.
I see. One thing also that I mentioned to my client who asked this question is also that I think at the time when the Creek launched, until like just a couple of years ago, there still were not so much concrete plans on the Beauty World area in general. Do you think that, I think it might be a timing issue as well for the Creek compared to right now?
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you brought up, because when the Creek owners came in, there were speculated transformations that could happen. But right now, these have become concretized, right? And I think the biggest transformation will be what I call the GIC transformation, where we are talking about greenery, we are talking about infrastructure, and we are talking about the commercial development in the area. So in terms of greenery, what we have already is the upcoming rail corridor. This is something that has been built or is continually being built and will be ready sometime next year or so. And this would be actually where the existing railway tracks were. And this is something that would bring nature closer to the people in this area. Next, we also have got the Sky Gardens. The Sky Gardens that are coming up between Rifle Range Road to Fir Avenue, and in later stages onwards towards Botanic Gardens and Gardens by the Bay on one side, and towards the Jurong Lake Garden on the other side. So this will actually be a connecting Sky Garden, which will actually link up all our national gardens. And why I'm talking about greenery is this, because every time there's been an enhancement of greenery, we also see a corresponding enhancement in property value. But what I think is the main thing would be our infrastructure developments, which is our integrated transport hub, where we are having a 4-in-1 complex at the very least, where we have a MRT interchange, we have a bus interchange, we have a shopping mall, and we have a condo development that is coming up. And this has just been released for sale on the 30th of June this year. And since then, right, we have seen a sales boom at developments all across the Beauty World area. People see this and they know this is the next hot spot.
Well said, Jeremy, and it's good. Thanks for bringing up this GIC once again. I know you spoke about it in our first video, but thanks for bringing it up once again for people who may not have seen it.
Yes, and I think I'll go straight to talk about the commercial element, because that's something that we see in this area, where the size of this plot of land, right, is actually 33,000 square meters. And in terms of size, this is actually similar to the Jurong Point Integrated Transport Hub. Imagine Jurong Point coming to Beauty World.
Okay.
What that would do for property prices in this area.
True. I think Jurong Point is a super crowded mall. It will bring a lot of people to Beauty World.
And impact the prices. I think that's the most important thing. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share. The GIC transformation, something that is coming up in this area, something that will impact people and residents in here. And I think that once that happens, right, once we are in the full swing of things, that will be something that's very exciting. But I can tell you this, because of the current situation we are in, the COVID period, I think that developer will not be launching for RED with this integrated transport hub premium built in. I think it'll be very attractively priced. In fact, if we talked about pricing last week, by 1.8 to even 2,000 PSF, we are actually very attractively priced compared with other developments within the city fringe or even outside in the outskirts.
Talking about that, it leads me smoothly to my next question, where I've actually done some research on the nearby properties, other freehold launches in fact that has launched recently. So just looking 2 km further north and 2 km further east within the same radius, it seems like at Mont Botanic, another freehold project in the north, the average pricing is going about 1,006 to close to 1,007. Whereas if you just move 2 km towards the east, towards 6th Avenue where you have Royal Green, it seems like the prices jump towards an average of about 2,007 per square feet. I mean, realistically, if you look at Foret being in between these two projects, it should come up to be about in-between price as well, which would be about maybe 2002 to 2003. Just wondering whether you have any thoughts on this pricing gap that seems to be so large towards one side and so small towards the other side.
Good point that you brought up, Jim, because every time we move along the downtown line, actually we do see some increase in the property prices. For example, if we start off at Cashew, where we have Bukit 828, that's coming in at about 15xx PSF. Down to Mont Botanic, like you mentioned, 16 to 17 PSF. If we go down to Mayfair, King Albert Park, even though it's leasehold, but just to give you an indication of prices, it's about 19 to maybe about 2,000 PSF. And Royal Green, you mentioned, is about 2007 PSF. Right. So for Foret at Bukit Timah, right, as a freehold development, yes, I think it would be fair to say that it could have been at the 22 to 24, which would be the half distance, halfway in between kind of price. But because of the current situation that we are in, and because Foret was actually one of the first land plots that was purchased in the en bloc cycle, they were able to secure it at a more attractive price point. And therefore, the pricing that we are coming in at, right, would be about the 18 to 2000 PSF kind of range. I think that's something that places it within the same price bracket as Mayfair. And potentially this would be something that is as we like to call it, a freehold at leasehold price.
Yes.
Sorry if I borrowed your line.
No problem, no problem. It's a prop next line. So yeah, I think having this comparison along with the downtown line station maps is more relevant, I guess, because previously in our previous video you compared with across the island. So I think this gives a more micro view towards audiences who are familiar with the downtown line.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, Jeremy, I guess we are about the end of our chat today. Once again, thank you for coming down and spending the time with me today. When do you think, especially with elections, happening right about now, when do you think developer would launch for sale?
They started collecting interest already. I think the main thing that they were looking out for was the timing of the elections, because they didn't want to start halfway and then get surprised with elections. So with the elections being announced early, on 10th of July, I would say that anytime after the 10th of July, we'll be ready to start physical previews already, with the launch to come probably a couple of weeks thereabouts after that. So I think that for Foret, the important thing is to secure your interest early, because what we are already seeing on the ground is a very, very strong response to it. I think people are looking for a freehold development and who are looking at something with transformation angle. I think they'll be hard pressed to find something like this, especially at the 18 to 2000 PSF price point. So if your viewers are interested in Foret at Bukit Timah, they would like to find out more, I think they can actually reach out to us to get a preliminary preview even before visiting the show flat, so that they can know what they're in for when they come and visit.
Yep, it really sounds very exciting, Jeremy. Do you think there'll be more information that will be released that we can do a part 3 or something? Or
I think that we are very close to launch already. I think that the information that's been released has been quite substantial. I think that anything else would probably be just pricing related. Yeah. So, in the meantime, I think we've done our estimates and our workings for the pricing, and I think that more or less the pricing that we described will be quite close to what we would expect to see on launch day.
okay, in that case, same thing as the previous time. I would leave your contact number in the description and in the comments below, so that if anybody is interested, they can feel free to drop you a message.
Definitely. We've had a strong response since our last video, and I believe that with Foret being one of the first launches to come up after the circuit breaker, after the elections, I think this will be something that will be very highly anticipated.
Definitely. So who do you support for the elections?
Haha, my vote is secret.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks for your time, Jeremy. It's great to have you online today.
Yes, thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me over.
So for everyone watching this till the end, thank you for staying with me all the way. As I mentioned, if you want to know the latest up-to-date insights about Forex at Bukit Timah, please contact Jeremy through the link below that I've included his contact number. You can get in touch with him directly and ask him all your personal questions that you need that might not be best to be shared over on the online setting over here. Once again, I'm Jim Tay. Make sure you leave a like, comment below if you want to ask any questions. I'll do my best to answer you. Share this video with someone whom you think it will help. Click the subscribe button and watch my next video. I'll see you next time.
Take care. See you.